you're Atato, right? Atato. Ma'am, you came in. What's your name? Are you on the agenda tonight? One more time, the last name? $1106. Okay, new pool. Okay. Hi. One more time. Harrison. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning P&Z Advisory Board meeting. We ask that once the chairman, we're about to start shortly, once the chairman calls on your address to come in and speak, come up to the podium and speak into the mic. And if you have any follow-up questions about your permit application, you can pull me aside and I'll let you know the following steps.
Sir, right here. What's your on the agenda for tonight? The name? Right. Okay, or okay, E. Okay. Perfect. All right. So everybody ready to get started? You ready? All right. So good evening. This is the Village of Biscayne Park Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Monday, March 21st, 2022. It is now 6:36. We have a little late start. Do the roll call. Edward Leyva, Charlotte Hammonds.
Here.
Manny Espinoza, Gage Hartung. I'm here. I got a call or text from David. He said he's running. And we have an SP from the building department. All right, so let's go to everyone that's here. The Otato, 649 Northeast 117th Street. We're going to look at the new construction for preliminary review. And then if we approve it, this is the third time, we will vote on approving the temporary construction finish and the demolition. So we have it over here. Yes, sir, if you'd like.
All right. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Oh. Motions were approved, all three. Next is, old business, D, 1106 Northeast 118th Street LLC. For a new pool, and then also 11606 118th for a temporary construction fence. Hello. Yeah, we don't do this by Zoom. Yeah. So, was there any changes from the last time? One.
Second.
And I guess they have a fence application as well.
Yeah, for a new construction, on the Dropbox, I attached a code where whenever there's a renewal for a new construction fence, it needs, and it's expired, it needs to go back to the drawing board to planning and zoning. So that's why, but according to,
8.
Where's the? And the reason for a temporary construction fence is why?
is because it expired. So now, according to the code, if you see the code I attached in there, it goes back to planning and zoning for reconsideration for the permit, so they can renew the expired permit.
But
Yeah.
is this fence
Get
just
up.
for the pool permit?
No, it's for new construction.
So they have, besides the pool, they have a new construction permit that's open.
Yes.
So this, okay. Yeah. So there is an active building mean, they're over there, I mean.
Yes, it is active, yes.
Okay.
They have to stop.
Okay, so this is a temporary building fence for a property that does have a current building permit, so I'll take a motion to approve. Somebody say aye. Aye.
Right.
Thank you. All right, next would be Harrison, 11605 Griffin Boulevard, construction fence. Yeah, so yeah, they have to renew it. So you guys are, you're building away, so you have a current building permit, so it's another thing.
Yeah,
Renewal of it.
Yeah, motion to approve.
And then Manning, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Gage, I believe they also have a discussion item, the same
Yes.
Do I need to read-
same address.
I'm just signing the permit, right? Yes, I thank you. Yeah, just 1 second, let me just make sure. I just need to sign it to one place, right? Because the other one has already been, it was signed, back in 2020.
Right. So this one.
Just updated the file. All right, so this also has a discussion item. Harrison 11605 Griffin Boulevard. So if you'd like to go up there.
So basically, we do understand that the south fence post leading into the property is not exactly where it's supposed to be. We had talked to our neighbor, but he's kind of a difficult person to talk with. He did initially tell us that he had no problem where it was. It's a little closer to his property line. It's not on his property by any stretch. But there was a tree that we were trying to not take out. So our contract, and there was also, it's not going to be used, but our contractor didn't know. There was some existing sprinkler lines that were in the way where it should have been. So he moved it a little too close to the neighbor's property. And we're trying to see if there's any possibility that we could get a variance because it's not that far off. I don't know if that's possible, but that's what we're hoping for.
Do you have documentation that, where's that? What I just. Oh,
So you refer to it as a fence post? Do you mean it's,
It's like a light post. I guess
it's
you
more,
call it.
yeah, it's not a fence post because you can have a fence in the front yard. So it's a decorative post.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, like a light post.
Yeah. Just
so these are like,
heads up in case you were planning on putting a fence next that you couldn't, so.
you put those in.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So they're 19 inches from the property line instead of,
Not both of them. One of them, the southern one is. The other one's okay. The north ones are okay.
okay, so, but it's not on your neighbor's property.
No. It's 19 inches.
These
on
were
the
part of
front
the original building permit? These were permitted when? With the original?
one. With the original permit, but it's not to plan though, because of the tree and because of the sprinkler, they did as built, but
Okay.
they didn't really keep us in the loop.
And is the sprinkler, is that your sprinkler or your
It is our
neighbor's?
sprinkler, but
Okay,
it's actually an abandoned line. They didn't know that it's an abandoned line, but it's coming out, so
the sprinkler is abandoned?
that sprinkler is. Well,
Oh.
it's,
The line that they tried to avoid is an old,
Oh,
yeah, it's an old line.
We have their building permit?
and the neighbor's okay with it where it is?
Well, here's the thing.
No, the
He's the
neighbor-
one who
the
filed the
neighbor's not.
complaint. But when I
Oh.
asked him to his face, I said, look, is there a problem with this? And he said, absolutely not. I don't have a problem, but the code has a problem. So, but he's given us a lot of problems. So, I mean, we understand that technically it's in violation, but we're hoping that since it's kind of a minor thing, that we could maybe get a variance.
And what are the inches difference? I didn't catch
It
that.
has to be 36 and we're 19.
Oh, okay, okay.
Can I ask where did they come up with the 36? Okay. So that's what you proposed in your original plan, was 30 feet. Okay.
Because
Someone did tell us from the city that, from the village, that it was too close.
Yeah.
After the.
well,
fact.
because I think that, Gage, I think you're asking because driveway is really 30-inch, which is,
It's a 30.
yeah. but then this is a structural item, not a driveway.
So they're basically light lamp posts.
Yep.
Pretty much.
A
That's
lamp post,
what they're
correct,
considered is
A
lamp
lamp
posts.
post. Yeah, I misspoke when I said a fence post, a
okay.
lamp post.
So, first off, I hesitate because this is not something that we would include in your original building permit. This is something that's not part of the envelope of the house. So I just am curious to know if we even realized that they were there when we discussed the house. I don't have an issue with the posts themselves because they are light posts. And I don't think there's a setback issue with light posts that I know of.
Well, that's what he claimed. And
Yeah.
He's a contractor and he kind of claims to know a lot of things.
I would be happy to ask him for the reference of the code that he's referring to. So whether it's 36 or 18, I don't think there's an issue per se. My main thing is that it should actually have its own permit. Because I don't think this is considered part of the envelope of the main house.
Definitely was on there, but it wasn't in that spot because of the tree.
But we don't approve driveways in the main plan. We look at the building itself.
Gotcha.
The only thing I could think of is if it would kind of create some sort of sight line or sight distance kind of issue, like
No,
kind of
because he
pulling
has a
out of a
hedge. You
driveway.
can't even see it.
That's the only,
And it is on your property, right? It's not in the
Yes.
right of way.
Yeah, you can
That would be
clearly
the
see because
only,
there's
like
the
a
survey
safety
stakes is over
issue.
there.
Just, blocking a view of somebody pulling out,
No.
that kind of thing, but
No, he just tries to
Yeah.
be a thorn in our side.
Okay, so again, since this is a discussion item, I would recommend that you come back with a permit, standalone permit for these. I don't have an issue with the location of them, as long as they're on your property and they're not.
do we have to issue a permit for that? Is that an actual,
It's a structure and
yeah,
if you're building something. they're not-
But Gage, once you call it a structure, I mean, then there'd be setbacks imposed and it would be more than 3 feet.
just a little landscape type
Yeah.
But we considered a lamp post.
detail?
That's basically when we do allow them in the park,
Mm.
we've permitted them before.
Okay.
Can that fall under like the umbrella of when we go to get a driveway permit down the road or different permit?
So if you wanted because you don't have a driveway permit yet for this,
No.
right?
We do not. No, we're still a little ways away from that, but getting closer.
I would say maybe incorporate them into that.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure that we would not have been looking at these when we approved your structural plans. Because they are considered separate permits,
Got it.
around the property.
But we could
So,
definitely add that.
so are you near to applying for your driveway permit?
Within a matter of a few months, like
Okay.
maybe 2 months.
Okay, so is everybody okay with that? Let's just
Yeah.
apply for it when you apply for your driveway.
Sounds good to us.
Yeah. And, maybe in the meantime, if there's anybody can show any part of the code that talks about 36 to 18, I don't see a problem with it.
Okay, great. One more matter that just to bring to your attention, because I just want to stay out in front of things. We finished stuccoing and our painter told us it would be a good idea to avoid cracking, to get some primer on it pretty fast. Then he also said that it would be a good idea to tint it a little bit so that if we're doing a color, like we put white, it's going to show through and it's going to be easier to paint if we tint. The people at Lowe's messed up the color. So it came out very, very dark. And then we haven't applied for painting We haven't applied for paint color and all that.
Okay,
But you'll see it painted, but that's just primer. It's gonna get painted over. So I just didn't want someone, a building official, to say, oh, this is not an approved color, because it's acting as primer, and it's gonna get painted over.
okay, that's fine. Yeah, and unless it's one of the, if it's not one of the pre-approved colors, you're, then you'd come back to us. But if it matches one of the pre-approved colors that SB has, then you're
Okay.
fine.
It should have
Yeah.
been pretty close, because it was a pretty bland, beige-ish color, but it turned out really god awful.
Yeah. How's the project coming along? It's like
Getting closer.
excited. It's
Yeah.
looking really nice.
We're ready to move in.
I bet. It's been a while.
Been a long time.
Okay.
All
So,
right, thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We had a few more people join the meeting, but I'll go ahead and go with the people that were here when we started. So it'd be Building E, Coro, 960 Northeast 118th Street for a driveway. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good, good. New couple driveways, brick border, and new homes. Okay. 960 North 20. Building. Is there a survey by any chance? Or is it just the hand drawing?
Yeah, it's just drawn by hand. It's the scale though.
Gage, there is a survey in the package.
Right, the survey was included from when the application was applied for.
So there's no survey. Okay.
There is a survey in the
There
package,
there
yes.
is, but
This?
There is a survey in the package, yeah.
it was included in there. And you have also the
The hand sketches,
drawn
the
of the old
designs, but
driveway.
want to see mine? Gage?
It's gotta take some time. I can do survey.
Yeah, it's in the Dropbox package as well. So the only issue that the rest of the board might have opinions too, but you're showing 65 feet wide of gravel parking in the swale, right? 65 by 17.
Right, so it takes the whole front part.
Yeah,
to
which you're
allow
not-
for parking.
Yeah, which you're not permitted. So you can only have up to 40% of the swale as parking area. So the rest needs to be organic material. So if your property width is, let me just see the survey.
There's a reason, I mean, not the fact that I maybe want to have a lot of parties, but there's a pole on my property and I constantly have Comcast and AT&T visit. And I also have a cleaning lady which comes in on occasion, and that's been an issue sometimes with code compliance. Because she just parked there, so she won't block our cars. So that's part of the reason that I included that in there to allow for AT&T and Comcast and whatnot, so they can park their vehicles on an approved surface.
Yeah, you may have a good personal motivating reason for doing it. It's just the code doesn't permit it.
So then you're saying I have to shorten that?
You could not have more than 40% of the swale,
Of the length of the swale?
40% of the total area. So your swale is,
Oh,
it looks like
40%
80.
of the total area. So
Yeah,
if
so
I-
I think it's 80 width, your property.
Yeah, the property's
Yeah.
80 wide.
And then I'm not really sure what the depth, but typically it's 10 feet or so is the right of way.
It's 17 here, but on the.
Yeah, you're showing 17. I'm not sure what
there's
the
a-
actual,
I included the original, which I thought I had with me.
yeah, actually, it's like it's 25 feet is your,
Yeah, that's what it is,
Parkway,
25, right?
yeah.
Oh, it's right.
So, 80 by 25, 40% of that could be parking area. How you divvy that up is
Okay,
up to you,
I'll
but
we'll have to figure it out. Part of the reason too is to add landscaping and make it look a little better and, dress that up once that was done.
Yeah, which of course we encourage, but just, that landscaping needs to be 60%. That
Needs to be what?
needs to represent 60% of that area, right? So
60%.
40% max could be parking area and the remainder has to be organic landscaping.
Okay. All right, I'll, okay, so then as long as it's not more than 40% of the swale,
And the same applies, by the way, the driveway portion on your property. So 40% of your front yard, excluding the swale, same rule.
all right. So I mean,
I don't
obviously,
think
if
you
it
have
was a
an
straight
issue-
shot out from where the old parking was, because I doubled it. If it was a straight shot out to the street, it would be fine, right?
Here.
You know, that would be an 18-foot wide double parking all the way. So, let's say eliminating the whole side section, that would be
I mean,
okay.
just shooting from the hip, it looks like that would be okay. Obviously, you'd have to do.
No, I understand.
You have
I
to do the calculations, but. Yeah, and then you just have to just make sure also that your that border, that edge paver is at least 30 inches from your neighbor's property line.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of room there.
So the question is the 80 feet versus the 65? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the question is that he's exceeding the 40% parking area in the swale, so he's got 65 by 17 right now.
Yeah.
And his property width is only 80, so he's,
Way over.
I mean,
40% of the
No.
swale. If I go back and redraw it, I'll resubmit and then we can move
I
forward.
mean,
with
let's
it.
see, actually, you have a pretty deep, like, according to the survey gauge, it's 25 feet deep, the parkway. So let's do the math real
It
quick.
doesn't have to be 40% like, it's, you can.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can configure it 40%. Like, so you might be able to make it narrower and longer because you have a lot of wide and right
Okay.
away. So yeah, so if you could reconfigure it to 40%.
Yeah, you're at 55, right?
Oh, okay, so that's not,
So you're
that's
not
not
too- Yeah,
much.
because you have a huge
Yeah.
25-foot deep
All right.
right away, you actually.
So I could shave off here and there and then take it well within the 40 and, because the aesthetic of the look was a part of the reason as well. And then after that, we're gonna do some landscaping in addition to that later, so. And then maybe put a pergola or something. All right,
What pergola, what?
well, I'll permit that, don't worry. You guys you'll get the paperwork for that.
Yeah, but no, we don't allow pergolas in the front yard.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, because I wanted to add something to shade the cars and I thought. a
You're allowed carports,
Carport, yeah.
but it's got to be made out of aluminum or canvas or, it's not wood
Okay,
pergola.
well, I guess that's why we're here.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't want a canvas one, but I thought the pergola looked nicer.
I mean, if you made it out of aluminum, I mean, we could consider it. I mean, the code says aluminum.
I
and
get it. Yeah,
canvas.
yeah, aluminum, not yellow wood. I get it. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're gonna table this?
Right. So I guess to be continued, I'll come back with a new drawing.
Yes. Motion?
Yeah.
Manny,
Motion to table?
Manny, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Table it.
Thank you.
Revisions on the swale. 40%. Thank you. All right, so we had some people show up. Ma'am, are you here for the other one? For 750? Okay. Huh? Andy and then Ed. All right, so let's just go, I'm gonna go back up and I'm gonna continue with the agenda in order so that I know I'm not sure where everybody's at. So the next one would be 11724 Northeast Sixth Avenue LLC, Northeast Sixth Avenue temporary construction fence. So this is a construction fence for a lot that was cleared. Is there an active building permit?
No.
No. Was a permit ever issued?
There was, no.
So technically, there's no construction permit, so it's not a construction site. So there's no need for a construction fence. All right, so. Well, he can clean the lot up and he can just have an empty lot that's sodded, basically. Yeah, but as far as. Well, it's all construction sites shall be enclosed with a temporary construction zone. It's not a construction site because there's no permit. So, and it's been sitting there for 2 years with nothing happening. So. Unless there's an issue. Any questions on the board?
No questions, just a thought that, I know that we are requiring applicants for demolition permits to get approval from zoning, right? And then if they get approval for new construction, we grant them a demolition permit. But I think, cases like this, which are unfortunately with this particular applicant, not just this site, we might have considered that we don't give demolition permits until they have a building permit, not just zoning approval, but a permit. Because it's one thing to come to us with, some basic drawings, get our approval on a new design, and then we grant them demo, and then they don't actually bother following through and submitting a real permit with any intent to build anything. So I think that we should really consider demo permits being limited to after you
Well,
obtained a
I
building
believe that
permit.
There was actually a building permit, our building drawings submitted on this. So there was a building drawings submitted. So the demolition permit was approved and the fence.
Yeah,
needed
but they were submitted. They didn't actually get approval of a permit.
Permit, so it's not a construction site because
No, I understand where we are today.
it's
I'm
an empty
just-
lot right now.
I understand 100%, but
So if they get a permit, they pull the building permit and actually start the permit, then the fence can be considered.
Yeah, 100%, I get that point. I'm just talking to a side point about whether or not, what the process should be for granting demolition permits. And that they should really have a building permit, not submitted for one, but actually obtain one.
Just an FYI, the demolition, I think, permit was issued before the ordinance was, or the decision was to have a new construction.
Gotcha.
approved.
Yeah, so I'm suggesting going forward.
Right, right.
Obviously can't do anything about this one. It's gone, but
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I just wanted to also pinpoint that for the new construction permit application, it was submitted for the December 7th, 2020 meeting. It was tabled pending redesign at that meeting. So we still have those plans there, but nothing has been turned in.
another thing, Chairman, I think I've mentioned this before in the past, but the Village of Bay Harbor, or Town of Bay Harbor rather, when you obtain a demolition permit, you're entitled to demo. You're required to sod the lot and have no construction fence until you have an active building permit and you're starting construction, right? So you don't end up with these unsightly demoed construction fences in perpetuity in the village.
Okay.
So again, I don't know if that's a discussion with the commission to think about, considering things like that. Because again, we all see this on 6th Avenue every day driving by for, as you said, a couple of years now, so.
So I believe the code, the new code says that you have to have the plan submitted and approved in order to get the demo permit. And then you can't get the demo permit, you can't get the fence permit until you get the demo permit. So there are submitted plans, but the permit was never issued. So it's technically not a construction site. The demo plan permit has been
Closed.
The demo permit has been closed, done and closed.
Yes, I believe so.
So this needs to go away.
Yeah.
So, and he needs to, revert the lot to sodded and.
100, again, I agree 100% on this particular lot and this applicant and this item. I'm talking about bigger picture, other applicants, future, items.
I understand.
In the meantime, a motion to deny the application for construction fence.
Yes, it's.
We do.
Right now.
Yeah, but then he won't be able to leave it looking like it is. He's gonna have to sod it and make it safe, right?
always welcome to start construction. Believe me, we would too. We'd love. Yeah. Yeah, I know that the Fifth Avenue residents would like it too with him. I understand that's the same situation. So,
And 119th Street residents.
yeah. So, I have a motion.
Second.
Second, Scarlett, all in favor to deny, say aye. Aye.
All right.
Motion is denied. Next is Building H, Old Business H, Pantano. There she is. 11728 Northeast Sixth Avenue, new pool. Anything changed?
I was gonna say, I don't think anything's,
No, nothing changed. She wanted to discuss, because she
welcome
was
to
not
come up.
here.
Hey, David.
But did you
Okay.
turn it into me?
Can I just ask you to go to the microphone so they can hear you? I mean, if you want to hand me that, please, thank you. So we have documents that were not submitted, but it still shows the 7-foot setback.
No, there is
Oh, no,
another,
There's a new one. 10.
yes. So I don't know the timeline, but the architect made those plans, he submitted them, and then they came back with revisions specifically to the setback, the property line, and I believe it was 10 feet. And then, so we had to make it narrower, and then where to place the pool equipment.
So you're putting the pool equipment behind the back of the house?
So that's why I wanted to come closer to you, because I myself, the problem was that that's what I believe was the comment that they told me, but the back of the house was where we enter the house. And that's not really nice to have your pool equipment at the staircases of your house. I don't find
Well, it
it.
doesn't have to be against the house, ma'am. I mean, you have 85 feet between the back of the pool and your
Exactly.
back property line.
So I wanted to
mean-
come here to understand, since it was denied, what they were originally requesting with their plans, the
It just
architect.
cannot be in the front of the house. So you have you have two fronts. You have a side that faces Sixth Avenue and a side that faces 118th Street. So you can't have it in either one of those fronts.
So where do you recommend me put it? Can I come close to see it? I just,
Sure. I mean, you have a huge piece of property here, so it's anywhere else besides those areas. I mean, you have all this property.
Mhm.
Up against this. up-
But this is fine. I think that there were some reasons for the pipes and the plumbing and all of that. I'm not sure. We're trying to put it in the vicinity.
in terms of the piping run to the pool, offhand, I don't know, but there are some, dramatic drops in the efficiency of the pump when it gets too far from a pool. Yeah. Yeah. Well, basically how many 90s you're putting in the piping, Yeah. Well, it can also be on the property line. I mean, right? 3 feet from the property line yeah. So you have your neighbor on the south and you have your neighbor to the west. Could be against either of those property lines.
just saying. Yeah, I mean.
Just
The next-
as an aside, I think I heard you say you don't have a fence. Yeah, you said you don't have a fence, correct? Okay, but you will need a fence once you put a pool in, so just keep that in mind. Enclosing your whatever access to the pool so that a neighbor's child doesn't, fall in your pool, etc. So part of the pool permit will require you to have a fence around your property. Yeah. Yeah, I think you'll need a fence in between you and your neighbor is what I'm saying.
The next planning and zoning meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 4th. Deadline to submit to come again to that meeting is next week, Monday, the 28th, before 4 p.m. With the big plans, yes, so you need 2 sets of plans plus a third electronic copy. Right. Okay.
Look, was there just a motion to table, Gage? Yeah, so you want to just.
Well, she said there was no changes when she submitted, that's why I'm not sure. So you want me to move it to discussion?
Is that it?
Yeah, I think he's got a lot coverage issue. Your permeability calcs only appear to include the house square footage, not the garage square footage, which is another significant. Mm, I don't think so, no. Okay, so you think they're both good? Because 55 by 26, yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, I guess you're right, because it's 28 something.
So the rest of that is all grass. Supposed to have one of those. Well, there's. Looks like it has.
I mean, I'd say if he was applying for the permit now, Gage, but I mean, the permit.
I'll follow up with you during the week.
Aye.
Yes, I'll follow up with you. It goes to structural, and then after that, it will go to our building official. Sorry, structural, then the electrical and plumbing, and then building. It on the Dropbox. Oh, okay. I think the code removed it, had them remove it.
Thank you very much. F and G. You're just returning it to the way it was.
No.
Second.
Aye.
Right.
Second.
Right, should we just, since the applicant had some issues with getting after the fact permits, we just remind them, it looks like you stuccoed a large portion of your exterior walls, correct? So now you're gonna have to paint them, and paints require a permit as well, so before you get, what's that? Great, okay, just don't want you getting dinged again for, yeah. Yeah, sorry.
There is an interior renovation permit. Like I explained to you in the office, you would need to pull that permit. If there's any electrical that's being done, then you need to, if you're doing owner builder or if you have a contractor, that's fine. But you need to also have your electrical contractor, yes, subcontractor. I'm sorry? Yes, so you also need a mechanical contractor, mechanical plans. Correct. If you have any other technical or specific questions in the drywall part, you can also set up a meeting with the building official when she comes in on Fridays, in the mornings. Okay, so send me an email so I can confirm and put you on her calendar for this Friday if you like. So you can do that. Okay. This is an after the fact, so it's going straight to our building official. And again, she comes in once a week on Fridays. So after she approves, it does take 1 to 2 business days to invoice the permit. Being that, remember, we explained to you it's an after the fact, so it's gonna be double fee plus $100, and you also have another fee from code. So, but we'll explain to you when we get to that, but now it's waiting for the building official when she comes in on Friday. Okay?
Okay, so,
First, because that's what was, it said on this agenda, it says, the manager wanted it to be, proceeding the planning. Oh, okay, okay.
Wait, am I on?
You can tap it. Yeah, tap the microphone.
Right here?
No, just tap to check. No, on here, the top. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. It's hard to hear. Good evening. I am Alex David with Calvin Giordano and Associates with offices at 2103 Coral Way in Miami. I'm getting used to that address. We just moved from 108, so I have to practice. Anyway, I'm here to present a new state requirement. Every municipality now has to include in their comprehensive plan a new element, which is called the property rights element. So that's why I'm here before you, just to explain a little bit about what needs to be included in the new element. And by the way, we're the planners for the village, so we are going to be updating your comprehensive plan, updating it to where it needs to be consistent with state law. It hasn't been updated since, it's been a number of years now. So we're just bringing it up to where it needs to be with respect to compliance with all the state statutes and all the changes that need to be included. So basically, after many years of trying, the Florida legislature adopted a bill, House Bill 59, which required every municipality to include a property rights element. So that's part of your attachment. I believe you have the ordinance in your
You all have
package.
everything, right?
Yes,
There's two documents. Okay.
So it's very simple, and as planners, we're not sure why it needs to be a full element, but that was the direction and what was approved by the Florida legislature. So it's very, very simple. It's included, the language is all on page, I believe it's page 2 and 3 of the ordinance. So it's just one goal: consider the rights of property owners in all local decision-making, one objective, and 4 policies. This has been vetted by the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity or state planners. This is the language that was in the bill and vetted by, as I said, DEO. So with this, I'm just requesting that you recommend approval to the commission, and we will take this forward as an ordinance, and they'll be required to have 2 readings on this new property rights element.
Thank you.
Yep.
So there are 4 points, I think.
4
4 points.
policies.
So it's, it's one of those things, the legislature passed it down. I have a question for you. Of objective 1, apply rule ordinance regulations with sensitivity for private property rights. So in your opinion, applying rules, which is what we do, we apply the rules. How does this affect us? I mean, we do consider the rights of the property owner, but is this just putting it into words or
It's
something?
formalizing the process, but you mentioned that with the last, when you were reviewing the plans, you considered the property rights of that applicant. So we don't see much of a change for any municipality. It's just memorializing what the state statute states. So
Okay.
I think every municipality does take into account property rights. This is one legislator from North Florida has been trying to get this approved for years and years and years.
Okay.
So it finally got into a bill. Not that I'm aware of. This is an addition. Right, correct. Right.
They just want this in our comp plan,
Right.
as everything else.
And I have experience in probably 4 or 5 other cities. Myself and other coworkers in my firm, we're doing the exact same thing. And what Alex is proposing is the very minimum that gets us compliant with state law. So there's probably like about 10 more policies and more objectives that we could put in our comp plan, but we don't need to. This
Right.
is enough
We're
to,
recommending not. I mean,
yeah.
there are some,
we recommend just do the minimum
right.
and get it over with.
So it's easier, and
Yeah.
and DEO would appreciate that because they're the ones who are pushing this language.
Okay. But for these 4 points, basically, we shall consider the right of the property owner. We shall consider the right of property, which is something that we do in every
Yeah.
action that we take. So
Yeah,
it's not going to affect us in any way.
no,
I do kind of feel like there's a boogeyman waiting to jump on us for something, but
Wait
the
till
way
the
it's
20
written, I mean,
23.
we shall consider, we always consider the property rights of the
Yeah.
owner when we make our decisions.
How does
Yeah,
this,
I find it's a little confusing because when I first read through this, I couldn't understand why we had to adopt this, because this is what planners do all the time anyway. We don't try to take property rights away from people anyway. It's not what our board is
how
about.
does this square with a homeowner saying, I want to put, 150 square foot shed and it's my property and what you're imposing on my property rights by telling me what I can or cannot do on my private property?
But you do have regulations in place. This is dealing with a comprehensive plan. So this is more overarching, more generalized. Your zoning code is your zoning code. This doesn't really impact that. You do have regulations and you are sensitive to property rights, so I don't see a conflict there.
Yeah, I'm just with
Um,
Gage that it just seems like this is unnecessary language and so what's the agenda? Like, you know, what is it that is, that, you know, this legislator trying to get at? But
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've been following this for a number of years and, you know, it finally got through.
glad they spend their time working on important issues.
So we have the draft in front of us. I think we've all had a chance to read it. Is there any questions for Alex? He's here. Any of the board members?
The only other thing that I was wondering is, can this be used by, let's say that we pass a house that we were looking at, then the person who's next door to us who now feels like a private. And then that person who wasn't a permit applying.
Well, that's in your code now. Any person has a right to appeal a decision, even a building permit. So it happens. So I'm not concerned about, you know, that at all. So on that note,
think-
I will jump in with you said to hurry along. We're also looking at what was called the Mcmansions, you know, in your LDRs, like to rein in some of these maybe larger, big square homes, or sugar cubes, as some people call them, and that's what you were just looking at. So we're coming up with ideas. We've vetted some of the ideas to amend your land development regulations to deal with second stories. So we're in the process of that now. It's been in, we've had this discussion with the village manager. I'm waiting for some graphics, and then I think very shortly, maybe next month, we'll be bringing that to you, just to your feedback. I think we're going to probably go to the commission first to get some feedback from them, and then tweak the document, and then bring it to you for, you know, in a formal manner. So we're
Yeah.
hoping to do that. pretty
Yeah, I
soon.
know. I mean, I would love it if you could come to us so we could get an idea what it's about, but I know the optics of it all, but it just
Right. So
know,
we, you know, the workshop, we,
we
you know, we did that in
you
December,
worked
so-
with us originally, and then you went to the workshop, so it would be nice if you came back, we gave a little comment, then went that way, but
I think
I'll
we're
leave it
gonna-
up to you
well,
guys to figure out
you know-
how.
You know.
That's how it's gonna be done. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so we have, can I get a motion to, I guess, recommend to the village to adopt this ordinance 2022? It doesn't have a title draft, property rights ordinance.
I motion to recommend to the village council the property rights element.
Andy, all in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Nope, motion carries 5-0.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Have a good one. All right, so we are complete with this agenda. So can I get a motion to adjourn the local planning agency board meeting? Second, please.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, we are now adjourned at 8:06. Yes, approval to the commission. All right, so we are, that's, okay, we're going to resume our planning and zoning board meeting. It's now 8:06. All right. We have minutes from March 7th, 2022. So the PRBP did not come back for their second review.
Or something else.
One thing that I thought of after the meeting, this is one of the reasons that we have 3 meetings, is that, and it's not, we're not really discussing it right now, but we're allowing them to build into the front setback because of the existing wall. But I don't recall off the top of my head, was the garage part of the original, or was that new? And if it's new, the garage actually has to meet our current code, because that's a new wall. It can't be in the front setback. So I don't know if it was set back enough, so that. Yeah, so it has to meet the 30-foot because it's a new part of the structure. So when it comes back, we'll take a look at it, but it's one of those things driving to work, you're like, oh, okay, we didn't do that. If there's no changes, the minutes, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. All right, next will be Building D, Kolb, 825 Northeast 120th Street, re-roof tile and flat. Tear off existing tile and flat roof for new tile and modified bitumen rubber system. I can't read that system. We have a color
It's
anywhere?
modified roofing.
Yeah, the modified bitumen roofing system. Yeah, there's all different types of ones. This is a poly glass. Oh, that's the. But the tile is. Find the color of the tile. Looks like an S tile. No. Windsor roof tile. Not this color anymore. I get a motion to approve based on letting the chair just approve the color. I'll keep it to terracotta, within gray, whatever. That way we can move
Motion
it
to
forward.
approve pending chair's approval of color.
Second.
Favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That's the old email. Next will be Building H, Ledger, 1070 Northeast on 19th Street driveway. New concrete driveway, 6-inch thick and slab design, entrance and concrete slab thickness. It's pretty much smack in the middle of the front of the yard. 25 feet wide on a 75-foot lot, so we're good. What's the strength of this modifier? Yes, the lot coverage is there.
Yeah,
33.
it's the
36.
amount of basically pressure it could take before, you know, it would rupture.
If there's any comments, if not, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Carries. Next will be building ICEA, 10811 Northeast 8th Court, re-roof tile. and plat. Royal Saxony 900 color dark charcoal. Okay. Flat is in the back. Comments? I'll take a motion. whenever it's ready. David or Ed, I can tell.
Yeah, you guys sound the
David.
same.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Nobody knows because it's the county, so.
All right, next will be building J, Fonseca, 11221 Northeast 9th. 331 of 6-foot metal. Or a beam fence, 4 gates. All right, across the front on the right and then across the back in the back, facing the right of way. What is the color?
They,
Say brown, dark brown. Is that what-
I think it's round, yeah. Is there also like a portion of the fence inside the backyard? Like to the, I guess it's one of these duplex scenarios. They're creating 2 yards in the back.
Yeah, but why is it not?
Just one unit gets the pool and the other doesn't.
So 75 across the back. Oh, they have the sides crossed out. Why do they? 75 and then 10 and then 10. So 85, 95 and then 38, 28. So it's got to be down the side. It has the little X's there. They're taking off. It must be a duplex, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in the rear.
They should for the portion that goes to the pool.
You have.
Yeah. How do you self-close those? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know actually. Yeah.
So my question was, is do we have a color?
It's brown, no?
Is it brown that says brown?
I'm pretty sure that says brown.
Dura brown fence, okay, all right. Dura fence, oh, bronze, here on the second page, on the survey, actually.
Oh,
Okay,
it's-
motion, please. Motion to approve. David. Charlotte, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. This is 5.
the short answer is a really big gate. You have to have like a motorized, proper driveway.
Okay, next would be building K Aguilar, 11237 Northeast 8th Avenue, windows and doors. Horizontal rollers, fixed horizontal roller basement, single hung.
Across the front, it's W1, W2, and W4. Are all
W8 is
horizontal
in the
rollers.
back, looks like. Okay. Sliding glass doors in the back, horizontal rollers, so can I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
That, all in favor, say aye. All right, building I, Brazil, 11308 Northeast 9th Avenue, re-roof tile. Clay tile. Spanish S barrel color graphite brown. It's the whole house. Take a motion whenever you're ready.
David.
Manning.
Where was this though that was supposed to show the
Not on the roof.
okay,
Roof paint.
Tile.
Yeah, there's not a fascia requirement. Okay, so we have our 2022 financial disclosure requirements. Those are something we have to do every year. They're pretty generic. I mean, they're very vague. You don't really have to say how much if you have them or not. I've done it like, I think it's at least 15 times. So, I mean, if they say that we don't have to do it anymore, that's fine. But we've historically had to do it.
I'll confirm, but,
Okay.
but I spoke with him.
Yeah, but that was, so it was a bit confusing because she sent one form, then she sent a different form, and then I believe she followed up on the second form and said, you don't need to do that one. But I think we still have to do the first one. It was a little confusing, to be honest, but that's what I took from it. Yeah, maybe send one more saying, this is the one, this is the only one.
And usually the county will send it to us. They'll actually mail us something, we fill it out and we send it back. So. Yeah.
That's due by July, right? So we have some time.
It's like short form, it's very.
they had that meeting yet?
Don't think they've had a meeting yet. Except for that email.
I was thinking about it earlier. I'm like, I might watch that.
Yeah, that first color, the way it came out with the way it was scanned, SV was like, whoa. I was like, oh my God, they think we're gonna be crazy. We think we're crazy or something like that. It's like bright, that's one of the terracotta colors we have. So, yeah, no, that's coming up, I guess next week or 2 weeks.
Sorry that I was.
Yeah, so just discuss some. So let's go back to, let's just have a board discussion of regarding architectural design. You know, considering we just had that house today, you know, we are tasked to make sure that we approve things that are harmonious with the village. I mean, that is our piece of our board. So if we feel that something is not gonna be, it's not gonna blend in, we get to say so and kind of work with the client, the resident, which we're doing. But I think that, you know, we need to be aware that we do have that ability to say no, we don't want 2-story walls on the neighbors because it's gonna impose on, and it's not gonna be harmonious. So, so I just wanna, you know, make sure that we're all kind of on the same page with that. And if there's any questions, you know, all principal and accessory buildings shall be of an architectural style, character, and appearance, including exterior color, which will harmonize and blend in with the other buildings in the area. So just because they can have a 2-story house doesn't mean they have to have a 2-story house in a street of single-story house. So, or it has to be done in a way that blends into those houses. So, you know, when we're reviewing, let's keep that in mind, that that the code does give us that authority.
I had another permit. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but has like 4 sections of like notice, and then like basically it's like notice and then recommend with a higher group says, hey, from now until the end of the construction permit, automatically done whatever they're doing with that. So that way people that have open permits or people that have starting don't all of a sudden get hit by that. They're getting a lot of them. It's tough to keep people being on this.
I think that's a good point. And I think that as we are being more diligent, that those situations will kind of weed itself out. But like today was a good example of, you know, somebody that did not start construction and they have a construction thing. So time for us to start weeding those out too. That's becoming I don't know. I don't think it's such an onerous thing to come before us every 2 weeks to kind of clear it out. But I don't think they're being fined, are they? They're not being fined or anything. For like having a construction fence or
My brother's house, they made a
a construction fence.
that made us stop it. Which we didn't do anything wrong. We didn't know that. Fine, but at night.
Yeah, no, I see your point, but I think it's kind of, that's kind of onerous is to make somebody stop. that's something where like, I would say that it's an emergency fence permit, so let's, because we do things where like, they'll call me up and say, hey, somebody's roof is caving in. We need to get a permit. And I'll say, okay, what's the information? I'll say, okay, it looks good. Go ahead and issue it temporarily and then put it on the board. So something like that should really be the procedure for something like that, but not to make the construction site come to a complete standstill. I think that might be a bit
Yeah, I have, my thing was just like, oh, okay, is there a way that we can give somebody else to do it? with that stuff to it?
But I think that just if it's considered an emergency, they'll call me and I'll look at it. But I will always say, put it on the agenda for the entire board to approve it. I don't want to be that authority to be approving things, but I don't think we should be making construction stop unless there's something else, of course, going on. But an example would be, there really should be a construction phase. Yeah, right here, right. We're requiring everybody to come back around and put up construction. But there is open permit. There's an open construction permit. Because if he didn't have an open construction permit, wouldn't other codes kick in because it's a building without any windows? And, it's not a construction site. And it falls into something else.
But then if someone gets a new construction permit, but they don't start construction for 3 months, are we gonna, immediately make them suspend from not doing anything? Slippery slope.
Yeah, because a lot of people, because now we have some residents who are coming into contract, changing from contract to owner builder because what they signed initially went up.
Yeah, massively,
So,
yeah.
and they're not, I had one, the addition, I don't know if you know, figure it out. It jumped from,
I just think, people, when you get a permit, right, you have, I think, I don't know.
and the
if
permit has been
is
issued.
it 6 months SP until it expires initially?
Right, they have
Yeah.
6 months, so I told her that, have time to think about it, because you have until May to cancel the permit. Or you, when it is approved, because the building official said her signature is approved for 180 days also, which is 6 months. So if you go over that, you have to come back to the board. So I told her that, but now it's just like, that's the issue with these construction.
That's just my point, that someone can get a permit and they have 6 months to start, really, before they get a first inspection. So do we want to enforce a fence just because they have a permit? They're not doing anything.
But they have, but the second they start construction, they have a permit, they have
No,
6
yeah.
months for the fence permit.
Right.
So as soon as they start, then they need to have that fence.
Yeah, I'm just saying, do they need it if they're not doing anything?
Yeah.
Some of them are not starting because of that. No, because of the price of materials, change of contractors, looking for new contractors.
Yeah. All right.
What, if anything, because I didn't know this about this guy that we looked at his project today. I'm assuming that's like what, if anything, should be doing with the fire? We're approving this one, but is there any types of conditions that we can do?
I actually spoke to the manager today who does it. I said, what's going on with, especially this one builder who tends to have unfinished projects all over the park. And he's going to checking with the attorney to see if there's any type, if there's any type of legality to it. But, as long as they're following the proper procedures, they can get the permit. Now, Fifth Avenue is under violation, and I believe that they're getting daily violations for that fence and for the lot and things like that. So that is literally, it's moved into code enforcement. and beyond us. Sixth Avenue, they caught them that the fence is expired, but now it's gonna start, by us denying, it's gonna trigger that. 118th Street, same thing, kind of lounging and such. So,
There was one that was near my house. But the pool was like empty, just filled with rainwater that was in the.
109th or
Yeah, 109.
I think they ever sell it, or is it?
I don't know, but it looks like it's basically done now, so hopefully.
They were using that as a store. I mean, I watched all the next door stuff. They were using that as a storage unit over there. They'd at night drive all the trucks over there and park it. That's code. It really is code enforcement. I mean, you're not allowed to park trucks overnight, in the right of way and such. But as long as we continue to cross our T's, dot our I's and cross our T's, that's the best we can do.
Okay. I've also said before that I think it should be a no-brainer that a GC, a builder with an open violation should not be granted a new permit for any other project until he clears that violation. That's just, that is just easy. Okay, but then if Sobe has constant open violations, they should never be getting a permit for any new work in the village.
This job is done.
So it's up to Shelley really to do this?
I have to read on it, but
Well, they do, right? So I don't know our approvals, but a permit, you have 6 months. You get one renewal, and then after that, you have to get the building official approval to remove beyond one.
But I mean, I like the idea. I mean, we just have to work it out. The thing is we approve it, they knock the house down immediately, and then we have a lot. And the gap is starting construction. How do we motivate them to start the construction?
with that contractor, this couple months. And this is just an owner that has physically coming. So that's a contractor,
But, I believe that we are allowed to make amendments to our motion. So if we do a building permit, say, you have 6 months to start and then it expires, I mean, I don't know how that.
How do we propose?
well,
How do we send that up?
what is allowed, what is not allowed. So we want to make it as clear as possible what is allowed, what is. I would have to have a discussion.
But Ed, does any other municipalities have, like, you must begin building in a certain amount of time? Project? As long as the permit.
Well, I mean, for sure, other planning boards, when they issue, usually the bigger projects, they issue an order. That order has, you have to get a building permit within 12 months or 18 months, for sure, 100%. But that's usually a multi-family project. But actually, it's perfectly reasonable, as Scarlett said, that if we approve new construction, that they have 12 months to get a permit. Otherwise, our approval, void. We can't give it approval and then 5 years later they get a permit. I don't know if that's written in our code anywhere, but that seems like a very reasonable.
we could make a motion saying, we approve this, but the permit must.
Yeah, we'd have to remember every single motion that we'd have to kind of add that caveat to our motions every time. And then there has to be a mechanism to track that, right?
Or the other thing is, I guess, but how do we take this and then send it? It's this part, and say, hey, guys, you enter this in, and it's like, back here anyways, my driveway.
It's a matter of an ordinance, yeah.
that's the memo would have to submit a memo after recommendation.
I think that we send it up to the mayor, them, and say, hey, look, every time that we issue, because like then we have all of that stuff. Right. Basically, like.
Engage as the chairman will have to submit a memo to the manager about this concern. Like the
That's-
process.
Has to go through and all that, but there's a lot of stuff that can be done as administratively too. I don't think an ordinance.
And it all comes down to, I think when it comes to the, it's like, Shelley always said, this is, we always verbally, but it's not written. So this is what she knows. Is that an approved signature? This is something that we all need to sit down together to see how we can come up with strategy.
I thought it was.
I mean, it's good, but it's like, I don't know if they're gonna do an ordinance for like one line.
Right.
They want.
Yeah,
They wanna
once they get it,
cross-
it'll blow up into something more massive and they're changing half the code.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is you gotta, and I've learned over the years is be careful tinkering, because sometimes you'll open up a can of worms and then everything else kind of gets dumped into it and can cause worse damage actually, than what you're trying to accomplish. That's true. But a good point. I mean, if you want to keep a list of everything and we move it up, I mean, the good thing is that we're kind of,
I really like the, hey,
I love that idea. Okay, any other thing, Frank? All right, so I'll take a motion to adjourn. If everybody's all done. Okay, we're gonna be adjourned at
sorry again.
8:41.
You're excused. Who's second?
You okay?
Second.
Yeah, it's, they thought it was appendicitis or blood clot or cancer.
Wait, let me stop the recording. Hold on, hold on.